Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 2 for this week, one day late. And we're going to talk today about water temperature versus air temperature and how the two vary, and they vary very differently during the course of a day. And so the ultimate question, of course, is that we're going to ask ourselves in this video is, what are we talking about? All right, let's move on ahead here. Now, this data is courtesy of the National Weather Service office in Wilmington, North Carolina. And these are the water temperatures at Myrtle Beach during the months of January to June. So you take a look here, and they split the month up into 3 parts. So January 1st to the 10th over in here, the highest during this period, and they took this data from 2005 to 2016, the highest water temperature during that time was 64.2, the lowest was 42.3. But if you take a look at our trusty, we've talked about this 25th to 75th percentile, that if you have a bell curve, that's like the middle 50%. So that's where, the most likely stuff is. And then outside of that are the outliers. So the 25th to the 75th percentile here, I jumped ahead. Hold on. Okay, January goes from 49.3 to 54.9. So not a very big range there, okay? Now, let's move on ahead to July through December, and I'm going to highlight this period from July 1 to July 10. And again, if you take a look at that 25th to 75th percentile, it goes from 81.1 to 83.8, okay? So just sort of keep that in the back of your mind. So now let's take a look at temperatures, land versus water. So the water temperature at Myrtle Beach from July 1st to the 10th on average varies from 81.1 to 83.8, okay? The average air temperature on a daily basis at Myrtle Beach from July 1st to July 10th varies from 73.5 in the morning to 87.5 in the afternoon. So why does the water temperature only vary by 2.7 degrees during the course of maybe a given day, while the air temperature varies by 14? Well, it all has to do with something called the heat capacity. Now, what is the definition of that? The heat capacity is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of an object by 1 degree Celsius or 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit. It takes more than 4 times as much energy to change the temperature of the water as opposed to the temperature of the land. And the size of the object that we're talking about matters too. It takes way more energy to raise the water temperature of the ocean than it does a little puddle on your street, okay? So with regard to the sea breeze, if the ocean water temperature varied by the same amount as the air temperature during the course of a given day, there would be no sea breeze. Why? Because the sea breeze is generated by temperature differences between the air and the water. Generally, it has to be at least 6 degrees Fahrenheit or more in order to set that circulation up. So no difference in temperature, no sea breeze. And in conclusion, I wanted to share with you a personal story. Back when I was a child and living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, every summer we would go to the South Jersey shore, specifically Wildwood Crest is where we stayed. And my dad would set it up so that we would stay the very last week before school started. In other words, when we were driving home from the beach and we pulled into the driveway that night, the next morning school started. So it was like, bang, culture shock, okay? So, but one of the reasons that he did that was the fact that the water temperature stays warm well into the month of September. It doesn't care about Labor Day, okay? And this is because of this whole heat capacity issue. It only changes temperature, both increases and decreases, very, very slowly. So we didn't go back to school until the Friday after Labor Day back then. And so this is one of the reasons he did this, was that he knew that the overall weather conditions and the water temperatures would be just as nice after Labor Day as before, and the rates for the hotel usually were slashed after Labor Day, so it was a lot cheaper. So we got the same weather conditions, the same water temperatures for half price for half of our trip. And so I always thought that was rather ingenious on his part to look at it that way. And also it was a lot less crowded after Labor Day, so you had a few days to enjoy the beach without quite so many people there. So anyways, that was just sort of the way we did it. I will admit, though, it was very difficult to be looking at the ocean one day and then 24 hours later being in a classroom. That was indeed a very shocking change, but it was worth it overall over the years. All right, that's it, folks. That's bonus weather video number 2 for this week. Next one will be coming up on Tuesday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again with the next daily weather update on Monday. Take care, everybody.